Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Weekly Pint. A day late, but it's still here. It's the show that is not a show, so we're not a day late because you can't be a day late if there's no rules because it's not a show. If it was a show, it is supposed to be every Monday around 9 p.m.-ish. But since it's not a show, we can do it on Tuesdays around 9:40 p.m.-ish. If you've been following along, you know that I was on vacation this weekend, and that creates chaos in my life, which there's always a little bit of chaos in my life, so that's not abnormal. But you sprinkle a little bit extra chaos, and things are not going to work the way they're supposed to work with a show that is not a show. But we're here. We are here. I had so many ideas for what I wanted to do this week, and none of them actually happened. I left my 4-year-old upstairs in the living room. My wife is putting the boy, the leader terrorist, I think he's the leader at this point. She's putting him to bed, and the 4-year-old was running around the house like a mad person. And I turned on Scooby-Doo, and she's now diving into that. Hopefully that keeps her occupied long enough for us to get this done. I have a lot of things to talk about. So I missed the beginning part of the chat. Julia says Matt can have a drink tonight since it's not Monday. I agree with that. You are not fasting tonight. She is also cracking open a blue ice cream from Sonder. And then Chris is drinking Third Eye Magic Dream. Glad to be able to catch this show again. Well, we're glad to have you. So I'll crack open a beer first before I dive into the vacation. I just randomly grabbed this one out of the fridge. This is my... Maybe my last. I'm looking like I can possibly see, and I can kind of catch a glimpse of the fridge, which has a glass front, but there's no way I can see what's in there. We have my possibly last brewery beer from my care package that they sent me. This is Gozas Are Red, a Goza, if you couldn't figure that out, with Syrah grapes, aged in oak foeders. It's 5.6%, 1 pint. It says the brewery, Famille Roux. I don't know what that means, but Roux I think means red. Famille I assume means family. So the Red family, part of a series. I don't know. It says Gozas Are Red is a stylish, funky, crisp, and tart Goza ale inspired by the soft sweetness, and then the spacing of the words. I don't know how well you guys can see that. It gets really goofy there for a second. It says inspired by the soft sweetness of rosé wine. They're spaced out real goofy if you didn't catch on to why I'm reading it that way. Satisfyingly complex from time spent in oak foeders. This refreshing wheat-based ale has hints of coriander, spicing, and a light saltiness to complement the soft tartness. Matt wants to know, is this really live? It is really live. We're live right now. All right. So this pours nice and rosé-like. Gozas are red. Gozas are rosés. Let's see. Julia says, the most live it'll ever be. Marco says, had many fretboard beers recording Truth Beer Podsequences, now having a glass of Cabernet Sauvignon to celebrate our excellence. Yeah, I agree. I'm maybe 3 minutes away from the end of 2 episodes ago of Truth Beer Consequences. I'm behind for the first time in a while of everything. I had this image in my head. So let me drink this first before we dig into my vacation. Let me top this off. All right. So like I said, crisp, red-ish. Looks like a rosé wine. Super, super tart. Super effervescent. This hits all of those things that probably those people that are seeking out rosé wines would want out of a beer. It's good. If you guys don't know the brewery, you should. They're cranking out some great stuff, and this is one of those great beers that they're doing. Man, super refreshing. I wish I was drinking this on a beach, which I could have. I could have had this on a beach, and I didn't. Really good beer. Please. So if we can dial back a minute from where we were a minute ago, this show is not actually a show. It is a happy hour. We get together once a week, normally on Mondays. We hang out. We have a beer or whatever you happen to be drinking. We just sit around and we drink together, and we do a happy hour. It's not official. Whatever goes. We just make it up as we go along. Because of my life, which we will get to this week, it's not happening on Monday. It's happening today. So if you're tuning in for the first time, welcome. If you're tuning in for the however manyth time, welcome back. If you want to take part in the conversation, which you should, because that's a huge part of what makes this all work, you can chat wherever you're listening. If you're on Facebook or YouTube or Twitch, there are people that watch on Twitch. I don't know who you are or why you're watching, but if you're on Twitch, you can also chat and take part in the conversation that way. All of it kind of compiles into one little happy little feed, and it appears right there on the screen, and you guys can all chat that way. If that's not good enough for you, though, if you need a little extra and you want to be special, you can always call into the show. And if you don't know the number, it's very easy to remember. It's 567-70 drink. Again, right there, right now. 567-70 drink. 567-703-7465. That's how you call into the show, and it'll pipe you right in, and we can do it that way. But like I said, you can always chat, and that works too. So my week, it's chaos, guys. I can hear thumping happening like right above me right now. So I don't know if the boy is asleep and my wife is downstairs fighting right now with my 4-year-old. I don't know if there's some kind of epic battle happening, or if my 4-year-old is just by herself running around like a crazy person watching Scooby-Doo. I don't know. Let's see. Julia says, Gozes are red, the Sonder is blue, the gnome is now live. Cheers from me to you. Terrible, I'm tired. That's pretty good. Josh says, hello. Julia says, whatever Goza. Goza. I'm on a roll. Yep, it's open and I'm drinking it. Okay. All right. So let's talk about my week briefly. I think I'm going to go a little more in depth somewhere on some kind of platform about my vacation. We took a break from life. I don't know how in depth I want to get into this story. So my anniversary is coming up in like couple weeks. This all started because I wanted to plan this wonderful trip for my wife. I said, you know what? We are approaching our 10th anniversary. And I said, 10. This doesn't happen often. We should probably plan some kind of fun trip for just the two of us. Spend some time together and get away from life and shut off all of this normal stuff that we are currently battling, because we are battling a lot in life. We are in the middle of all the chaos that you can possibly imagine between work. My wife's job is as chaotic as ever, and mine is more chaotic than I can talk about in a free manner right now. But chaotic, good, but chaotic. And then we have two small children, both under the age of 5. We have a 1-year-old and a 4-year-old, and they are right in the middle of that fun age where chaos is all I can use to describe our life. So it seemed appropriate that we schedule this trip away from everything, away from the kids, away from our families, away from our work. No offense, but away from you guys, just away from everything. Just get away from beer, even in general. Just get somewhere where everything is gone. It's just the two of us. Sounded great. My wife said, nope. I don't want to spend time away from all of that with you. We're going to go somewhere with the kids. Okay. I hope she's not listening. If that's what you want, I agree with it, and we'll have a blast. So we did. We scheduled a trip. We planned it all out, and we were going to go. So my youngest, who's 1, is a Sesame Street nut. We said we're going to go to Sesame Place over in it's right outside of Philadelphia. We'll spend some time at Sesame Place, which okay, that's a good trip. On top of that, we then decide, all right, I say we very loosely. We then decide, all right, well, we're just a few hours from the beach at that point. Let's tack on some more time. We'll just shoot over the beach and spend some time there. So we're now planning this big trip. We start looking at the calendar, trying to figure out time where it all makes sense. We had a week this week where one of our normal babysitters, Grandma, was not available because they had something going on. So we go, that's perfect. We were going to have to take time off work anyways. We should just schedule it then, and it'll all make sense. It's perfect timing. So we scheduled the trip for the time where Grandma is not available. We start booking some stuff and start talking to Grandma. I don't know if my wife knew this ahead of time, but after talking to Grandma and Grandpa, it turns out that they're not available because they are doing a little trip of their own, and they are heading to Pennsylvania for some kind of a car show. Long story. Grandpa has a car, likes going to car shows. They're doing this road trip to go to a car show. They are going to a car show that just so happens to be like an hour away from where we are going. I don't know if this was in my wife's head the whole time, but as it turns out, they're there. Why not meet up with Grandma and Grandpa? I have no problem with that, for the record. It's just funny that I start planning this trip of me and my wife getting away from our life, and instead we just pick up our entire life and start it over, we'll say 8 hours east of where we are. So that was basically my vacation. It's not fair. We go to Sesame Place. We spend some time, just the family of 4, just me and my kids and my wife, and we had a blast. The kids had a blast. It was hot. The boy just passed out constantly. I don't really show pictures of my kids, but I could maybe show, if I have a good one of my boy passed out, I might be able to show a picture. Let me look here. Again, this is, I don't typically show pictures of my kids, but so this was day 1 before we actually even get into the park, Sesame Place. This is us waiting in line for security to run through the metal detectors and everything. That's how exhausted that boy is. If that gives you any idea of how the trip went. It was hot. It was miserable. They had a blast. So we take our trip, go to Sesame Place, spend a couple days there, have a hot, miserable blast riding roller coasters. It was busy. Here you go. Let me pull this off real quick. Hang on. No bar. There we go. So, I mean, just tons of people. You can see like the steam coming off of people because of how hot it was. So we do that for a couple days. The first day we did like the dry park kind of thing. I really want to pull up some of these pictures. I have this really great picture of us in the car. My wife would kill me if I pull this up. It's us in the car. I'm driving. So we left. I'm getting so mixed up here with the timeline of things. We left at midnight-ish on the first day, which was, I think, a Thursday, technically. So Wednesday night, Thursday morning. We left at midnight and picked up sleeping kids, just tossed them in the car, strapped them up, and just took off, hoping we could get as much driving out of the way before they woke up as possible. My wife drove the first couple hours, and then I took over, and they all just went to sleep. My 4-year-old, I love her to death. She woke up not that long after we got in the car, so maybe 2 or 3 hours after we got in a 8-hour trip, and stayed awake until 6 a.m. So it was just me and her hanging out in this car with the boy asleep, my wife trying to go to sleep. When she finally fell asleep, she's in her car seat. I really want to show you guys this picture. Here, we'll do it this way. We'll zoom in just so you can see my 4-year-old, because she won't care. There she is, passed out in her seat, in the back seat. You can see my wife's shoulder there. My wife is sleeping the exact same way that my 4-year-old is. I won't show you her, but she has this thing that she wraps around her head and a pillow, and it's really a great picture. So we eventually made it. I'm scrolling through pictures here. This is fun. It's like showing a slideshow to your family of your vacation, except it's you guys. There we go. Sesame Place. Hot and miserable. Yada da da. So that was that. We spent a couple days there doing the family thing. One of those nights, I think it was my first night. Yeah, it was definitely the first night. We only really spent one night there. I snuck off to a brewery, which was called, I have to look it up here, Aristeus. I can't pronounce it because it's a terrible name for a brewery. Had a couple beers there. This was after my family went to sleep, mind you. The beers were all okay. Nothing incredible. Gave me, again, as it always does when I venture out of Cincinnati, a respect for what's happening in this town. The beers weren't bad, but every single beer had something to it that was just strange. Like they wanted to kind of put their own spin on every style, which you don't have to do. So this picture that I'm pulling up was just one I snapped at the bar, and I can read the tap list. And I had a couple of these. The Bernadette was an Irish red. Perfect. Julia says, Truth Beer Consequences understands how hard pronunciation can be. What is the name of the berries? Aki berries. The Bernadette was a malt forward Irish red ale, brewed with raw Pennsylvania wildflower honey. Delicious. However, you don't need to add honey to an Irish red to make it tasty. It was good. A lot of honey, not an Irish red because of this huge blast of honey that they threw into it. Alpha was a English brown ale, malty and complex, yet easy drinking with clean finish. There was a Cascade Haze, hazy session IPA, hopped with Cascade. Blonded by the Light, I did not have. That was a Belgian blonde. I'm looking here, guys. Sorry. New England Fog, New England IPA. Double dry hopped with Galaxy and Citra. Didn't have that one. Summer Splash was a light, refreshing American Hefeweizen. That was good. Just very American wheat. There was a Can Crusher. That was a cream ale that was not cream ale-ish. Acai berry, says Julia. Yes, Aki berry. It. If we want to go down that rabbit hole, I hope they're not listening. I'm not making fun of anybody by this. Acai berries are these little super fruits. I think that's considered a super fruit. Super nerdy with the health conscious crowd, I guess is the best way to put it. Trendy. We'll call them trendy berries. It took me a very long time, way longer than it should have, when we were over at New Wales to figure out that is the berry they were referring to when they were talking about their Aki berries. Very long time during the show. And by the time I figured it out that that's what they were referring to, I just didn't want to correct them or didn't want to sneak it in there and make a little joke out of it. So I didn't. So back to vacation, from Sesame Place, which was definitely the least favorite part for me of the vacation. We shot over to Atlantic City, a place that I've always wanted to visit. My wife has been super nerdy for lots of very different reasons about visiting in her life. She wanted to get to Atlantic City and hang out on the boardwalk of Atlantic City. It's a song. We made it, and we got to see Atlantic City finally. Here it is. Here we go with the Ferris wheel and the little roller coaster and the pier and the beach. We got there and then got to hang out on the beach for a little bit that night. The beach was beautiful and amazing, and yeah, it was awesome. Especially after spending a couple days in hell, which other people call Sesame Place. There's my wife and the boy hanging out in the water. We weren't planning on going to the beach that night. We were going to. We had just gotten checked into the hotel, and we were going to carry all the stuff upstairs and then get some dinner and everything. And I said, well, let's go to the beach just for a few minutes, just for a little bit. Neither one of my kids have ever seen the ocean. My 4-year-old thinks she's been to hotels, and this is prior to this weekend. She thinks she's been to hotels, thinks she has seen the beach because she has been to really crappy hotels on these little day trips that we take, and has seen the beach, which is the beach at what the hell is the state park up in Oxford. She has never been to the beach. She's seen the lakes. So we were really excited for her to actually see the ocean and to see what that's really about, let alone the experience of fun hotels. So we rushed to get out there before dinner and then ended up spending a long time that night hanging out at the beach. And I'm trying to find some pictures that doesn't have everybody's faces in it, though some of these are really cute. So we spent a lot of time at the beach that night. Went and got back to the The room. What did we do for dinner that night? I can't even remember. Um, we. Oh no, I do remember. Scrolling through the pictures. So after we got settled into the hotel, got all our luggage there and everything, which was an ordeal. We so Atlantic City, the boardwalk has been around for ever, 100+ years, something like that. Um, Off of the boardwalk, the steel pier, which is where that Ferris wheel and the roller coaster and all that is, the steel pier has been around for just as long as the boardwalk. And the steel pier now is like turned into an amusement park, basically, that you can go and hang out at, have a drink, have some food, play some games. On a whim, we just started kind of walking down that way just to check it out. Ended up hanging out there for a while. My 4-year-old was losing her shit, as they do, until she realized she could play. Until she realized she could play games, which changed the tune for her. So we went to the steel pier. There it is. There's my wife walking into the steel pier, and we played some games. Had a beer. Oh, there we go. Here's a beer, and all was well after that. On the way back to the hotel, we knew we were gonna have to get some food. My youngest, the boy, he fell asleep and was okay being asleep. We figured when he woke up, we could just give him some kind of food that we had packed. The 4-year-old said she just wanted to eat cereal, which we had packed. So we decided we could eat whatever the hell we wanted to. There was a little almost like a food truck doing seafood on the pier. So that's where we ate dinner. You can see my wife if you zoom in. So we ate some overpriced seafood and had a blast that night. So there we go. There's the pier. There's more of the pier. This one here, our hotel was actually it's that little slanted guy right there, the showboat. So we were right there on the pier. It was fun. So that was fun. Now the cool thing about our hotel, if you guys are really bored by me talking about my vacation, I apologize. Our hotel used to have a casino in it. So Atlantic City has a lot of casinos. The casino in our hotel, they closed and turned into like a Dave and Buster's, so more family friendly kind of spot, which worked out for us since we have 2 kids. So after we got back to the hotel, the boy went to sleep, and my 4-year-old and me, my wife hung out in the room and I don't know, watched TV or read a book or slept, or I don't know what she did. We went down and we hit the arcade. We spent a bunch of money. I don't think I ever told my wife how much money we spent. We spent a bunch of money. We played games. They had little rides, and we rode those and had an absolute blast. Got back to the room late, and my 4-year-old just passed out with the wife and the boy. And I decided I'm in Atlantic City. Everybody else is settled into the hotel room. What am I supposed to do? So I grabbed my walking shoes and my wallet, and I took off. And I had been at Sesame Place for 2 days. I needed to get out and do something fun. So I ventured out down the boardwalk and drank and gambled and did the Atlantic City thing. So the big excitement, there was a land shark bar, so I drank some land shark. I couldn't quite figure out if it was legal to drink on the boardwalk. However, nobody stopped you, and there were lots of people doing it. So you can drink on the boardwalk, as far as I was concerned. Did a little gambling. My big spot was this place called Resorts. I won a little bit of money there. That was fun, which made the trip a little less painful. There was Margaritaville, more boardwalk pictures. I'm scrolling through on this other screen if you guys don't know. I ran out and bought previously, skipped this part, I drank and gambled with I did not gamble with my kid. They were back in the hotel. I drank and gambled by myself, just completely solo. I bought a couple 3 6-packs of some local beer. And then when we were back in the hotel, I drank those, got some Oktoberfest. I got some kind of sour something or other, raspberry sour or something like that. And then I can't remember what the third one is. Oktoberfest, raspberry sour. Oh, it's a pale ale. All of them were okay. Nothing that blew me away. And then the next day it rained, which was miserable. But we spent some time at the hotel, got our stuff packed up for our next leg of the trip. And then for lunch, ran to Rainforest Cafe, which my kids have never been there. I'd never been there. So we thought that would be fun. It was. That's where we met Grandma and Grandpa, and then ate lunch with them, and then took off to Wildwood, New Jersey, which was like, I don't know, an hour and a half, 2 hours, something like that from Atlantic City. And that was just completely awesome. Right up my wheelhouse. So the Wildwoods. And we stayed in a fun little hotel. All the hotels there are very like 70s kind of stuck in time, and I enjoyed that a lot. Didn't get to really experience any kind of nightlife there, though. I dove back into the family thing and went very hard on family time. So a lot of time at the beach. Not to keep rolling through family pictures too much, but yeah, lots of beach time, more beach time. Trying to find some good pictures for you that don't show my kids or anything. This gives you a little bit of idea of what the town looks like. It's just straight up 1970s. That was across the street from our hotel. Lots of videos that I took. I did take some video stuff just with my phone. I did not actually even pull my camera out of my camera bag. So our hotel, the center of the hotel was kind of the pool, and the hotel wrapped around that. And so the pool was kind of the center of everything, which I enjoyed a lot. It made it very communal. There were always people hanging out. They did live music on the weekend and movie night on Sunday night. It was a blast. My kids enjoyed it, which is probably the most important part. There's a boardwalk there, too. There's some really cute pictures of my kids. The boardwalk, and we walked down the boardwalk. Ate a bunch of really crappy fried food, like a ton of really crappy fried food. Did drink some beer on the boardwalk. There we go. There's that one. This is not what I intended this show to be, by the way. I wasn't supposed to just be showing pictures of my vacation for you. Here's a quick one of my girl. We're riding the Ferris wheel together. We had fun. It was good. Moral of the story is it was a good vacation, but you guys saw the post last night. I thought I was gonna get back on time, or close to on time. I anticipated that I might be trying to do the weekly pint for my phone in the car. But then as things went on, I realized not only is it going to be dark out by the time I'm trying to do that, we were in the middle of the mountains, which you get spotty cell phone reception, and it wasn't going to work. So I had to bump the show for today. But we're here. That's long story short. Today during the day, I was off work today, So I got out and recorded some video stuff, some things that I'd been needing to get done. There's a vlog definitely coming. Hopefully I'll get it edited this week, and we'll get it up. Then I ran to Fretboard and grabbed a a beer there in what is now my favorite liter stein, my favorite glass liter stein. They're beautiful if you guys haven't seen them. And did that. I also grabbed some dinner at a place that will not be named. And you guys can probably figure it out if you really want to. And was really, really, really upset with my experience there. The beer was old and tasted very old. And the food was mediocre at best. Tasted like reheated frozen chicken. It was not good. Wasn't very happy. Marco says, Julia and I have one of those steins. Do you guys share it? You guys share one of those steins? You guys both drink half of it and then take turns. Who gets to take it home for the week? Yeah, it was. I was happy to get there. Let's say that. I love the stein. I have a fun little stein collection. Yes, gets awkward. We have one each. Ruin the fun. Let's do some label approvals before we start wrapping things up. We can talk about some other things too. There's some other stuff that I would love to talk about, but let's do some label approvals before we get to that. Let me pull the chat off real quick, like that, and then label approvals. First one, 16 lots. You guys know this has been coming. Kenny's Day Drinking Lager. This is that new Kenny Anderson themed beer from 16 lots. We have the keg collar coming through. American Lager, 4.2%. The beer itself is nothing too shocking and too crazy, but the beer will be a welcome addition to Cincinnati's craft beer community, especially those of us who are Bengals fans. Up next, Alexandria. I think I hinted at this one or showed this one last week or 2 weeks ago, whenever it was. Flesh of the Pumpkin, seeing cans. This is 10.8%, and this is a pumpkin beer, like full-on pumpkin beer. The interesting part about this one, I did talk about this last week, is the changing of the wording on the label. It says brewed and packaged by Alexandria Brewing Company, Newport, Kentucky, under special agreement by Alexandria Brewing Company, Alexandria, Kentucky. So still made by Wooden Cask, but the wording is now different. No longer does this talk about Wooden Cask anywhere on the label, which I don't like. I'm going to go on record and say that is misleading to the consumer, and I don't like it. So there's that. If we can go down a tangent for another minute about this idea of contract brewed beers. There are so many beers that are made in this city or around here that people don't know who is making their beer. And that bothers me a lot. That's a huge part to me of what makes craft beer what it is. Sorry, guys. That's not what I wanted to do. That's not what I wanted to do either. A huge part of when you go buy a craft beer is knowing the people that make that beer. I don't care if you contract brew your beer. It doesn't matter to me one bit, but be honest about who is making it and let me know that ahead of time. So if your packaged beer like this one from Alexandria, tell me that Wooden Cask brews it. I'm fine with that. And up until this one, they've been really honest about it and said, hey, this is contracted by Wooden Cask. Josh from March 1st is on here. We talked about this earlier today. There are a lot of breweries in town, more than anybody I think realizes, and more than I feel comfortable talking about without pissing people off. there are a lot of places that are pouring beer on draft that they're not making, and maybe there's a little collar on the keg that says, "Hey, this is blah 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 beer by so and so brewed at this place instead of the place that you're at." But as a drinker, you don't know that when you sit at the bar and you order it. It looks the same as everything else that's on that tap list, and I don't like it. Joey says, agreed, label transparency. This is a big problem in the whiskey industry as well. It is. There's strange wording, which going back to this one from Alexandria, you see it on here. It says, brewed and packaged by Alexandria Brewing Company under special agreement by Alexandria Brewing Company. That doesn't tell you anything except that it's worded very strange. And you see that wording and you know that Alexandria did not produce this beer in their facility or at all. Somebody else made this for them under some kind of special agreement. It doesn't tell you who made it. If you're nerdy enough, in Newport, there's only a few breweries. So in Newport, Kentucky, we have Braxton, we have Hofbrau, and we have we have Wooden Cask. Yeah, Josh says, wait, Newport, Kentucky. Yeah, it's Wooden Cask is the one making this beer. So if you're nerdy enough to start doing the math and narrowing it down in Newport, Kentucky, you can figure it out. If you said Josh says, I was thinking Taft's. Lol. Yeah. If it's Taft's you're talking about, theirs just says Cincinnati, Ohio, which does not help you narrow down where that producer is. Cincinnati doesn't tell you anything, which there are a lot of beers made in Cincinnati, Ohio. We could go down a huge tangent here. We could do an entire show that is not a show about transparency and people being honest about where beer is being produced. But we won't do that today. Up next, this is a fun one. Braxton. This is a keg collar for a lager called La Rose's Lager, a 5% lager. I'm going to guess that this is a beer for La Rose's. I would not be surprised to see packaging with this, but so far all we see is the keg collar. So it's that. I threw this one in here. I don't talk about mead a lot, but I just love the artwork for Dysfunctional Delights so much. Monkeys in the strawberry field, a mead with some banana and strawberries. Love it. This is another one of those ones that isn't something that I want to go into a huge story about. Hooten Young, American whiskey. This is produced by Myers Wine over in Silverton, another one of those weird places that nobody pays attention to, yet they're cranking out a ton of contract stuff for other wineries and distilleries. They do have a brewing license, though I haven't really seen anything that is brewed there. I've seen a lot of whiskey and spirits, and then I've seen a lot of wine come out of there. So Hooten Young. This one, I thought this was fun. I don't do a lot of further out into Kentucky stuff. I don't even know where Madisonville, Kentucky is, but I just thought it was fun. This is Metcalfe's Moonshine. If you look on here, distilled and bottled by Metcalfe's Landscaping and Garden Center from Madisonville, Kentucky. I just thought that was fun that there is a landscaping center that is making their own moonshine in Kentucky that is going to hit packaging. That's fun. Here's a new Moorline one. Going back to that previous conversation, this is a good thing to talk about. This is their clinker. This is their new winter ale that they're doing. It is brewed and canned by Christian Moorline Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio, under special agreement. Christian Moorline Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. That doesn't tell me anything about who is making this product, except that there's something fishy going on with that. We all know Taft's makes their beer, right? We can just say that out loud. That's what that means, but it's so sneaky the way it's worded, and I just don't like it. And I will not quit talking about the fact that I don't like it. Be honest about who's making your beer. Let us know where it's coming from. New Riff bottle, Red Turkey Wheat. Actually, I feel like they've done this before. The Red Turkey Wheat. I could be wrong. Rheingeist Valor, a red rice lager. Taft's. Some new Taft's. 25 Days of Haze, a hazy IPA. I'm going to assume, looking at this artwork, this may be released around Christmas time. Josh says, even then, doesn't Taft's have a different LLC for their contract business? Yes, Taft's has a whole separate business for their contract business. Impact Brewing, I think is what it's called. However, the brewing license is still the same license as everything Taft's does, so it all still falls under the Taft's umbrella. Which, when this label comes through, the TTB, it comes through as a Taft's label. Just obviously is not Taft's. Urban Artifact, they do the variants of their Midwest fruit tarts every month. This is Love Letter with peaches and cream. They've been battling some hurdles as far as getting these variants out there because of the high temperatures that they've been experiencing in the brewery. Their tanks have to be at a certain temperature to use the process that they like to use. And with how hot it's been, they just haven't been able to get the tanks cold enough to make as much as they want. So they've been fighting some shit with that, but this is the next one. West Side has an Amarillo Pale Ale that is rolling through. That's it. That is all of our label approvals for the week. I didn't look today because I've been busy with life, but that's that. We should probably start wrapping this up since we're almost at an hour, and the show, in theory, since it's not a show, is supposed to be closer to like 20 minutes. We're over. So yeah, I was out of town this weekend, and that is why things didn't happen the way they probably should have happened. Taking a little break from creating content, but I'm back at it now, and I have a new Oktoberfest showdown coming up this week. I have a new Prost coming this week. I have hopefully a new vlog coming this week. Lots of fun stuff. So stay tuned for that, and take a vacation if you need a vacation. I promise you, it is as painful as it is, not from just fighting with your family side of things, but as painful as it is to force yourself to stop creating or whatever it is that you do. As painful as that is in the moment, when you get back to it, it kicks things into a different gear, and it feels good. So yeah, there's some good stuff coming. I'm ready to get back at it. If I can find time outside of work to do that. I'm also working on some fun stuff that I can't really talk about fully yet. I don't know why I can't. We haven't really explored. I'm trying to pull something up right now. We haven't really explored the full way we're going to start talking about it. Let's just... Here, we'll throw a hint out here. We'll throw a quick little flash of something that I'm working on. this is a project. There's a little hint right there. We'll put that there for a second, let you guys see it, let you guys speculate of of what that could be. Pull that down. Yeah, I just got a text message. Yeah, they're that is top secret as of right now. A collaboration project that I'm working on with Cincy by the Pint and some other stuff. Julia says Gnome's fantasy draft logo. Nope, not anything fantasy sports. You didn't look close enough if you think it is just football. There's some other stuff going on there. Stay tuned for that, though. We're getting close to getting that all nailed down to where we can start talking about it, and it's going to be some fun stuff. So stay tuned. There's that coming. There is this week. Big Sis gets tapped out at Municipal in Hamilton. It's not a huge ordeal like it's been in other years, but we are still rolling along with the collaboration beer, and this year is going to be delicious. It's a English pale, sort of a Americanized English pale, we'll call it. So come out on Thursday after work. We're going to be tapping the beer and drinking it and hanging out for a little bit. As far as the brewcast, this next week we are at Listerman, and I have some other fun episodes coming up. So stay tuned. Thank you guys very much. If you like this show that is not actually a show, you can always support it and all the other crap that I do. Everything by going to thegnarlygnome.com/support. Share it with a friend. That's the biggest way that all of this keeps growing. And if you like talking about Cincinnati beer podcasts, Julia and Marco do a fantastic show that is called Truth Beer Podsequences. Find that wherever you listen to your podcasts. It's fun. It's a fun listen that gets you hyped up for not just my shows, but all the other shows that kind of revolve in this orbit around Cincinnati craft beer. So subscribe to that, and subscribe to all the Cincinnati shows, Shift Beers, Sonder Stories, all that stuff. It's all good stuff. It's all part of the same little bubble of Cincinnati craft beer. So thank you guys very much. We'll be back next week on Monday, I think. I should probably check the calendar before I say anything anymore. No. So next week is Labor Day weekend. I don't know when it's going to be, but we'll figure it out. I'm camping. I camp every Labor Day weekend. So sometimes it's either very late on Monday or it gets bumped to Tuesday. So I don't know. Stay tuned. I'll keep you in the loop at least, and let you know when it's going to be. It's a bad couple weeks for staying on a schedule. Thank you guys. Like I said, thegnarlygnome.com/support, or go to the shop, thegnarlygnome.com/shop, and you can buy a hat or a t-shirt or something like that. All of it helps. Anything you do helps. Just keep listening. Cheers, guys.